Hello, good evening, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Tyler is not paying attention, as per usual.
You know, there's
I don't
always a
know what
child
today.
doing something.
You were doing something. Yeah, I don't know what today's show is going to be about. I guarantee some point it's going to turn political.
And probably about
everybody's got
2 hours.
Yeah, somebody will have something to moan about politically.
Oh, we've plenty to moan about.
I can't see it revolving around Donald Trump or Keir Starmer at all. But you know,
No.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, people are starting to come in. So I hope everybody is well and had a good week. What about you three reprobates?
Pretty standard week.
Coming out of it.
Hiya, Steve.
Yeah,
Hi, Ellie.
Lee, Steve.
Hey, Keith, Lee, what's up, guys? I mean, the week wasn't bad. Trying to be a jackass and move really heavy furniture pretty much by myself wasn't smart, but you know.
But
Can't really have any sympathy for you, to be honest. I mean, that's your own stupid fault.
Well, I know this in hindsight. I was trying to be helpful.
You're still too young to realise. Helpful does not mean killing yourself trying to do it.
For a takeaway meal and a couple of beers.
yeah.
Idiot. I love Alana's bluntness. Don't put anything else into it, just idiot. Plonker. Is this an assortment of insulting words, you lot?
It would seem
Thank you.
so.
The sad part is I don't even look young.
Well, you don't look old.
I've been told I looked, what was the best one? I believe I was around 25 or so, and the guy asked if I was 48.
That's nice, isn't it?
Right. Given it was a young teenager who didn't know, his ass from a hole in the ground, but
I have fantasies of going into the shop and being ID'd. But it doesn't happen anymore.
No.
Do you know what? The only time it's happened.
Hiya, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
I think the only time it's happened to me that I've actually had to produce ID was to get a delivery for some vape gear.
I don't even get that anymore. My postie knows us so well. He just turns up with the packages, knocks on the door, throws the stuff at Alana, says what his day's like, says is everybody all right, and wanders off. He's great. The joys of living out in the wild a bit, you get to know people like the postie.
I mean, I remember being seeing Nine for maybe 3 or 4 months, and she was talking to some friends of hers who asked how old I was. So she told them I was 53. Trouble is, I was only 42 at the time.
You know you got good friends when they insult you like that, don't you?
Well, yeah.
Yes, but even better friends come out with a better one and insult you even better, and you just laugh anyway.
Well, the best is like this: you have a group of friends, and they're feeding off each other.
Well, that's how it should be. That's how people. It's the same with like Lee. I am with Lee, Lisa. Lee sees it when I do a show with him. He looks at my face and just thinks, "Oh fuck, he's going to come out with something stupid again." And guaranteed I usually do, but you know.
I mean, this is why me and Nine enjoy going out around some of the round shops in other towns where they don't know, nobody knows us there.
Yeah.
So we'll start bickering and sniping at each other.
Oh, the looks you get off people, it's great.
Oh, some of them are priceless.
Yeah, that's great, isn't it? Yeah. I'll remember that, you little sugar lump.
It's come down. She said 90 the other week.
That's quite believable. I've probably felt it and all.
Well, I had a young lady on Monday saying,
Yeah.
Look
Does
at
the
you.
wife know?
yeah,
Is she
'cause
in
I'll,
trouble?
I'll start that again. I had a young lady get off the bus on Monday. She was pushing a pushchair with a baby on it, probably early 20s. Turned around and said, "You've been a bus driver for quite some time." Like, yeah, just a few years. How long have you been a driver for? 17 years. And she's like, yeah, I remember when I was a kid getting on your bus. Fuck's sake. Thanks.
It's all right, Craig. I'm just at that age now. I can go into any major store and I get the young kids coming up. What else can I help you with, sir? Don't call me sir. Walk away. Just walk away.
Sir. Well, it depends. Sir, can mean they're just being polite,
Yeah.
or they see you as.
I would say, or you can remember it's an American teenager.
Yeah, they're probably being an insulting little turd.
I mean, I remember many years ago stewarding. I was doing in Folkwick. We always had Box Till You Drop on a Wednesday, on the middle Wednesday.
Yeah.
Which was always rock and roll or a heavy metal covers band.
Yeah.
And one of the team of organisers during the week, his sister used to come through for the bop. Now, she had two daughters. Her daughters were 16 and 18. She was only 33. And Mick was trying to pair me off with one of his nieces. I says, yeah, but I'm more interested in your sister. Because I look, how fucking old are you? I thought you were about 19. 27.
It's not so bad if you get mistaken for being younger. It's when you get mistaken for being older.
Yeah, but it's when they mistake you for only just being old enough to steward without thinking that you've been stewarding the festival for 3 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, the trouble was between his sister and his two nieces, it was very hard to tell them apart. All three of them were extremely attractive blondes.
I dread to think where this story's going to.
I'm leaving it there. Although I was given the chance to go on holiday with the three of them and Mick and his wife in Greece for 2 weeks. That would have been fun.
Probably, yes. Yeah, probably would.
Whitney man found in gutter in Greece. Unknown reasons.
He died with a smile on his face, though.
It took 2 weeks to get the coffin shut so he could be flown home. But no, I mean, age is only a number at the end of the day.
Yeah, but it keeps going up.
And it keeps feeling like you're playing The Price is Right when you're scrolling through to find your above.
What do you mean when you go?
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah,
Right.
1985. That's close enough. Just needs to show that I'm over 18. Close enough.
It's when you get. I find myself, Bill and I have done it quite often. You sit there and you're talking about. We were talking about Iron Maiden the other day and it being 50 years of Maiden. And I caught myself because we were talking about, like, you know, Maiden and 1980s and all of the rest of it. I said, yeah, well, it's not that long ago, really, 1980. And then I looked at the date and I was like, oh, yeah. Yeah, I see your point there, yeah.
Yeah, it's 45 years ago since I first saw Maiden and 44 years ago since I first saw Motorhead.
Yeah, I'm not sure where all the time has gone.
Not me neither.
Tyler wasn't born.
Nope. Wasn't even thought of.
Tyler wasn't born when I retired from roadieing. But that is one job where being a manic depressive, it works in your favour.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're working manic phases every day. You know, you do a day's work in 2.5 to 3 hours.
Yeah, I know.
Get 4 hours downtime, unless you're working lights as well. And often I was working things like the trailing spots.
Yeah.
So I didn't actually have any downtime. And then you go and do another day's work in 2 hours to get everything back out of the theatre or wherever.
What is it, 30 years? Yeah, 30 years since Vulgar Display of Power came out by Pantera.
Jeez. Nightwish have been going 30 years.
I mean, shit, I've only been going 32.
Yeah, well, Pantera are more important than you, so be quiet. If I had a chance of Dime coming back or you, I'd choose Dime. I'm sorry.
I had a feeling.
I mean, the thing is, I remember those bands when they were coming through as support bands in the 80s for people like Motorhead and Iron Maiden.
I remember Pantera's first album when it was hair metal.
Yeah.
Lisa, I graduated high school, 14 years ago?
I finished school over 45 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to college, and I graduated college in 83.
Sorry, Lisa. You have to think of it this way, though, Lisa. Although we are getting on in years, we did see all the decent bands.
Oh, yeah.
Tyler saw, like, Little Wayne.
And R. Kelly.
Yeah, it was a little before my time.
Oh, actually, yeah.
Tyler saw R.
Yeah.
Kelly behind. He got special privileges. He saw R. Kelly behind the scenes.
He didn't want you to
Forgetting
bring
our
that
cat.
up,
Yeah.
Matt.
Night.
Oh God, five. Why did you have to bring up Five Finger Death Punch?
He does every time.
Yeah, it's aimed at you. That's.
Mm.
I just can't take Five Finger Death Punch seriously.
I mean, you got to remember, 98% of what I actually listen to is all country music anyway.
You really are a redneck, aren't you?
I mean,
I'm
think,
blood, buddy.
think about this. The first Korn album came out when you were born.
Yeah.
And they were new metal.
Yeah. Tyler was born and the music died. So it's your fault.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you look at the time frame, you're not really wrong.
That's it. We know who's to blame, Lee. Get your airfare. We're going to see him and beat him up. You are not punching a donkey, Hanky.
Or is that another euphemism?
I thought that was only a thing that happens in Mexico. Maybe I'm wrong.
What you get up to with a donkey, Hanky, is entirely up to you.
But, you look back. I look back now and I think, yeah, I am in pain all day, every day. But at least I had a life.
Exactly.
And up until 14 years ago, I really lived it to the max.
Apparently, so did Hanky when he was in Animal Farm.
Not that version.
Each to their own, Hanky, as I said. Each to their own.
Trouble is, Hanky was the pig.
Squeal, piggy, squeal.
I was going to say, squeal goes the pig.
Oh, dear. That was just... Back in the 80s, can you remember everybody trying to get older copies of it? Not because they wanted to see it, but it was like everybody wanted to be like prove that they'd seen it for some amazing, stupid reason. Everybody was trying to get hold of a copy of it, wasn't they?
Well, yeah, because that was when video was available, and we actually had video players.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was just
because before that you had to have a Super 8 projector. Palaver is setting one of those up.
Yeah, and for anybody, the Animal Farm we are alluring to, not the one. Yeah, just don't go there. Just please, no, don't do it. It's so many stages of wrong. It's
unbelievable phases of wrong.
Don't look it up, Tyler.
You've told me enough about it already in past conversations.
You don't want to.
Well, no, you can look it up. Just don't watch it.
I wouldn't have thought if you did an internet search now, you would actually find much about it on the internet.
I bet he would.
Well, it was usually those dodgy ones that your dad used to get.
Well, your dad used to get, yeah.
Yeah. It was the dodgy ones that was
We know
strategically
about the
placed
surface
somewhere that
restraint.
we knew it was.
Oh God.
Hanky's going through his script.
Mm.
Well, we've made it 20 minutes, boys, and we have degraded to this level already.
we've degraded it to bestiality.
Mm.
I mean, that is a new all-time low, even for me. That's
We did say the
Hiya,
show.
Jay.
We did
Evening,
say the
Jay.
show was
Hey,
likely to
Jay.
go downhill today.
Yeah, but that was quick. That was really quick.
G, who is well, no, his birthday's gone, but it was the birthday boy.
Yeah. Did you have a good birthday, Jay?
Happy birthday, 21 again.
He's 21 with tax.
And VAT, yeah.
And tariffs.
Tax and VAT.
Everything, yep.
I will touch on one thing this week that I was looking at, and I know Bill saw this because he commented on it, which is the disability mental health thing that the current government have decided that they're going to shaft everybody who is either disabled or disabled because of mental health. It's dangerous.
They haven't taken mental health into proper account for years, and it's going to get worse.
The thing is, I can accept any government has got a struggle when it comes to mental health because it's very, very hard to get the money for a mental health system to work as it needs to. I accept that.
It's very hard to get counsellors and psychiatrists.
Very difficult. I accept that, and it is difficult that the NHS are sort of working with what they've got. But the current shambles that are in power want to take more money away from it. And with what they're doing with the current situation with the benefit system and disability benefits and so on, there's already been quite a few people that I've read who have unfortunately decided to take their own lives, which is absolutely terrible. It really is. It's awful.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's going to be more. There is going to be more people who are going to end up taking their own lives because of the current government.
Well, of course there is.
No doubt about it.
I mean,
Yeah, it's terrible.
I know how much of a fight the system was.
Yeah.
Never mind how it's going to go.
Exactly, Lee. The thing is right, if I say, oh, well, we shouldn't be paying out all this money for foreign aid, instantly I'm a right-wing racist. No, I'm a realist, and what I'm saying is we haven't got enough money for this country. So why are we giving money away left, right, and centre to countries that really give us nothing in return? Why are we giving money to places like the Yemen and Sudan and Syria and all these places that we've been at war at for years? We go in.
Not only providing the weapons to them as well.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. We'll provide the weapons, and then we'll go and take the weapons back off them and resell them to them.
But
yeah, it is, G. Yeah.
I was going to say, you can add to that, though, the big tax breaks for the mega companies like Amazon.
Yeah, and not forgetting, of course, that all of the members of Parliament have had a pay rise.
Yes.
Mind you, so have I had a pay rise this week.
What did you
Don't
do?
spend it.
Take your wallet and put it above your head?
I
Yeah,
am
don't
5
spend
pence a
it.
week. I am 5 pence a week better off.
Hmm.
I'm rich.
Our pay rise offer is 60 pence an hour.
You greedy bastard. Meanwhile, in the government, tax breaks and God. Yeah, it's something very perverse about what the government is doing. Very, very perverse.
The problem is America is the same.
I would say America at the moment is worse, a lot worse.
There's so much, we can go on this for days, but look at just the recent activity with the tariffs. Okay.
Yeah.
We went from, what was it? I don't know the exact numbers, but it was somewhere around like 89% on China, up to 120%, up to 142% within a couple of days.
Yeah.
Because they kept updating what they meant to say originally, but didn't say originally for whatever reason.
What, you mean Trump hasn't got a clue what he's talking about?
Right. And then yesterday, before whatever it was, puts out another one saying, oh, well, we're going to exempt all electronics and cell phones and all that stuff that comes in from China from the tariffs.
Because America can't make it.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's the point in the tariffs in general, especially being that high for ungodly reasons? What's the point if you're just going to take certain items and exempt them from them anyway?
Because it's a way of a big businessman, Donald, bullying, as he always has, bullying people into getting what he wants. That's how he works.
Like, look at it logistically, it makes no sense from a business standpoint, from an, however you want to describe him standpoint. Yeah, it makes sense, but not for everybody else.
Like I said this afternoon with you guys, the issue to me isn't so much Trump. It's Vance. JD Vance is more dangerous than Trump is. He really is. Because you've got Trump coming out with these wild ideas and ridiculous ideas on where someone in Vance's position should be saying, whoa, wait. Just think about this a moment. We can't do that because blah, blah, blah. No, dickhead sat on the sofa by and said, yeah, go for it. Go get... Oh. No, shut up.
I was going to say, I mean, the only reason they've exempted the technology from China is because Elon Musk's lost a fortune and he's going to lose even more with tariffs.
Oh, well.
I mean, Trump put out a press release basically saying their executive action, whatever the hell he did this time, and said that basically we've had water restrictions in this country for years.
Yeah.
Flow rate controls on whether it's a toilet, a shower head, whatever. He has gotten rid of that, or at least raised the, limit of how much you can have water per minute going at. And his reason is, well, I use a lot of water and take nice long showers, take care of my beautiful hair. So that was his exact words.
Yeah, but half of your states, you can still set fire to the water coming out of the tap.
Depending, yeah.
It's
Yeah, this is the trouble, G. In one way, I agree with what you're saying, G. You're spot on. It's great. Yeah, buy. You can create. The thing is yes, you are making money, right? Or not you, but you know what I mean. If you buy and you create money from it, that's great. but you're destroying half of the world to make that money. So you might be extremely rich, but you're not going to have a world left to live in.
I was just thinking the same thing. What's left?
There is more value in the world than that.
Yeah.
Okay? It doesn't all come down to what's in your back pocket or your bank. It doesn't all come down to that. Being a rich person does not necessarily mean money. There are other ways to be rich.
Yeah.
Well, being financially rich usually makes you a crappy person in the general statement. So,
I would totally agree. You can be rich with family, loved ones, friends, things like that. Sounds a bit philosophical. Philosophical.
you damn hippie.
It does sound a bit like I've been doing sort of LSD and cannabis, but there is definitely a side to it that if it isn't all about the money. It isn't. But Trump, unfortunately, and our current great leader, yeah. It was very easy for me to say, thank you, Lee, yes.
This is something we're talking about as well. The reason he's eased up on technology is China, Taiwan, they're producing 5 and 6 nanometer technology to produce microprocessors. At the moment, no American producer can get below, I think it was 18 nanometers.
I think it is, yeah. So that's all phones, be they Android or be they Apple.
Anything.
Or Nokia.
Yeah.
Be that televisions, because televisions in, be it MP3 players, be it anything electronic, cookers.
Any digital media at all.
All of these things. But Trump sat there in his usual brash way and gone, no, we don't need that. You might want to have a think about that, mate.
Yeah, you're either going to triple the price of all your computer gear, or you're going to have to go back 10, 15 years for your chips, for your processors.
Right, and at that point, nothing's gonna keep up with anything of today's standard.
No.
Well, nothing in America is going to be able to interface with the rest of the world.
If he gets his way, we're not going to even have the option to interface with the rest of the world.
Yeah, but Trump seems to think he owns it anyway.
Well, don't forget, folks, America invented the internet and the computer. No, it didn't.
No.
The trouble is that thing of having somebody who has a small bit of knowledge about something and then allowing them to run a country. And that's the position that you're in.
Well, exactly. It was a popularity contest that got him in office, and now you have somebody that doesn't know what being in office is actually supposed to be.
I mean, this thing of make America great again. Why was it? When was it great? When was America great? Really?
On current accounts, apparently the Great Depression.
Yeah, sounds about right. 1928, 29.
The Dust Bowl years.
Yeah.
I just...
when America
Alan
couldn't
Turing.
feed itself.
And I mean, if you want to go back before that, G, you've got to go back, of course, to Babbage and Ada Lovelace.
Yep.
Oh, there is a lot of hate in America. A lot of hate. There is in this country, though. There's a lot of hate. There is a hell of a lot of hate. And that doesn't come from us as people. That comes from the top.
Well, yeah, they feed you certain information and don't feed you other information and make you see things a certain way. And, you know,
Well, I refer back to that little bit of American exceptionalism that we witnessed one night when we were talking about Tyler just working out where some of his power was coming from in Canada.
Yeah.
And as soon as you got to the Canadian border, Google Maps and Google Earth wouldn't work.
Canada doesn't exist. That's dangerous.
It is.
actually, I wonder.
Yeah.
You know that. So
Well-
something you're having facts hidden from you as a country.
Oh, you're having so much stuff hidden from
It
you,
makes
Tyler.
me wonder what else is being hidden from you as a people.
See if it'll do it again. Oh, I put in Canada, not California, you dumbass.
They're different places, Tyler.
Yeah, one's got everything that America wants, and the other one's a joke
And
on the west
insane,
coast of
Tyler.
the United States.
All right, this is from here to Ontario, right? It'll actually probably be too fucking bright. Hold on.
Yep.
Nothing.
When they can censor Google to that extent, that
Jay-
is scary.
Gee, I totally 100% agree with that. Yeah,
Well,
and
exactly.
that isn't just America. America's doing it. Our current government is doing it. Is trying to hide the
Yeah.
fact they don't want us talking about things from the past. You know, about war and things that have happened and occurred in the past. All that. Well, we'll don't want to talk about that now.
I mean,
Well, it
America,
happened.
yeah, from stuff I've read on online discussion sites, America has been led to believe that it won the Second World War.
You
all
will
of the
not turn it off.
They would have. Nobody in Europe would have won any battles without America.
Oh, if you could get a hold of one of the history books I had growing up, this is exactly what it says.
The only
Yeah.
reason you turned up to the Second World War, and this is a fucking fact, 110%, the reason that you got involved, not you personally, but America
I know.
got involved, was Pearl Harbor.
Right, because
And
something
here's
happened
the
on
reality.
U.S.
Here's
soil. Right.
Here's a reality check for America. Pearl Harbor was your own fucking fault.
Yeah.
Pearl Harbor, you are two radar technicians. Oh, by the way, we invented radar as well, not America.
Yeah.
Sat there watching the screen and looks out the window to hear a P0, Mitsubishi P0, an entire wing of them, you know, a large group of them, flying over Pearl Harbor, and went, "Oh, I didn't know we were doing a we were doing flyby and a test today." They're bright white with a big round Japanese circle underneath. And these morons are the reason Pearl Harbor was attacked. And so many men lost their lives, which was terrible. It was awful.
A lot,
But
a
it
lot
meant
of men,
people who-
and, a lot,
They've been doing things properly.
and a lot of shipping was destroyed that day.
It was awful. I'm not taking that away. The people who lost their lives then, awful. A terrible
Yeah.
thing to happen. That is why they decided to get involved in the Second World War.
But up to that point, America was supplying Germany with all of their special steels.
And if we talk about that, let's remember after the war when Churchill wanted to continue through Berlin, not have an east-west of Germany, have a Germany, and he wanted to segregate it away. He wanted to continue through, all the way through Germany, east, right through to Russia and smash Russia as well. That is what Churchill was, his full intention was. And he was told he wasn't allowed to do it. It would have been totally different. There would have been no Cold War if he'd done what he wanted to do.
Instead, America capitulated to Russia and gave
then,
them
of
half
course,
of Europe.
all of these war criminals who've been murdering Jewish people, all 12 million of them, a lot of these people were famous engineers and scientists and technicians. And America thought, oh, we could use those for our rocket project. So what happened? You've had people go disappearing from the Nuremberg trials, and Germany taking them back and repatriating them into America and giving them a decent life after they'd killed millions of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You know, another one that I read that annoyed me was the UK couldn't develop an American saying the UK couldn't develop their own nuclear weapons on their own.
We already had.
The news was we threw our lot in with the Manhattan Project on the grounds that it was shared technology. The Senate created a mandate that meant none of that technology could be shared with the rest of the world, despite the fact 3/4 of the scientists were European.
Yep. As soon as they got close enough to they knew it would work, America started kicking people out.
So we had to go back. We had to go back to the start, and in 1951, we had our first nuclear tests.
Should have dropped it on America.
Which were actually more destructive than Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
Yeah. And of course, America did their usual trick of lying to its people, which is what it's been doing for years.
I'll say more than years. Fuck.
The American people have been lied to probably since America was formed. And definitely since the First World War.
Well, you know how America was created, don't you? You know, you've heard the story about the Vikings finding America. What actually happened was the Vikings were going past America. And they thought, we really must clear this boat out of some of this shit. So they threw it all over the side. Boom, hence America was born. It was a pile of rubbish and turds from Vikings. That was how America was born.
They've actually found the remains of 9th century Viking longboats in Manhattan Island, on Manhattan Island.
Yep.
Did you know about that?
Oh no! Like I said, there's a lot of stuff you do not like, especially
that's actual American history.
But I think it's not what the people who wrote the history books for the school saw as important or saw as needed to be, whatever. They got their own version of everything else they had already written down.
Yes, and Floki. They dropped Tyler off, aka Floki. He does look like Floki.
Yeah. Oh, they found it all up the all up the eastern seaboard.
Have you not watched the TV show Vikings?
No.
Oh, mate, you want to honestly
You've got to watch it. You have got to watch it.
It is a really, really good TV series for history
Yeah.
as well. There is some really good history in there.
Like it's
But
actually
Flo-
accurate, mostly.
Some
But
of
Floki,
it is historically accurate, yes.
but Floki, who plays the boat builder in it looks just like you. It's great. And he's fucking insane. He absolutely
Yeah.
nuts.
Hmm.
Yeah, the king of the Norse king wanted to go east, and he said, "No, we'll go west."
Yeah.
And he was refused permission, so he built his own boat and went west and took a lot of riches out of this country.
Yeah. It beat some monks up at Lindisfarne.
Yep. Well, yeah, it's not 100% accurate, but the law is true.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's
I
the
mean,
point.
people always think of Vikings as being like Vikings were just rape, pillage, and all of that. And Vikings were actually very clever people.
I'll say for every Viking that came over, every other one stayed in this country to leave space in the hold for the riches that they took back to Norway and southern Sweden and northern Denmark and
Yeah. Well,
You
they
know-
were the first people. The Vikings were the first people to organise farming. They sort of an organised form of farming. Very clever. They were very clever people.
I mean the thing is, we found out only 30 miles from where I live was the first farming 8,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Proper farms though.
Oh wow.
Well, before that, farming was just mainly for you and your family.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
But there were actual farms that were supplying areas.
Yeah. And then, of course, they came to Ireland. They took over parts of Ireland as well, the Vikings.
Yeah.
A lot of this area around by me was settled by the Vikings. Yeah, the Vikings turned up, sorted it all out. The Christians turned up and fucked it all up.
I said Vikings had a big influence all up the east coast.
Yeah.
Right the way from the Thames all the way around to the west coast of Ireland.
Yeah.
You know, they were mobile.
Hmm.
You know, 1,200 years ago, they were mobile.
Talking of mobile, I'm off for a mobile P.
At least wait till you get to your destination, then come back.
That's better.
It's the tenor for men that does it.
Hmm.
So when you hear a long screaming in the background, why is there a trail all the way?
Goes back to the conversation that we had earlier about massage seat in your car.
Yeah. And why tenor pants were invented. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was
I don't
nothing
need to
to
watch
do
that
with,
Vikings then.
it was nothing to do with women having accidents due to a weak bladder.
Mm.
It was them getting in the newer
Massaging
cars with
seats.
the massage seats and all of that. You know, before that they were okay with pads, but now they needed full pants because they ended up with full pants. And how was the accident caused? I don't know.
My foot slipped off the brake.
Yes, it was a Davros break.
We just brought up the invention of tenor pants for women and why.
Oh, they're wonderful.
They save your car upholstery dramatically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it on about? Vikings invading Ireland. This show's got completely off kilter again.
It really has.
I don't suppose there was any vaping related news worth talking about, was there?
Not worth talking about, no.
I say nothing new over here.
I see there's some silly young lady in America who apparently has got holes in her, she's got popcorn lung and she's going to need a lung transplant and blah, 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 blah. And of course, the Daily Mail is reporting that, it's how dangerous vaping is. And
Yeah, they're getting it wrong as usual. It's not.
well, the first thing that stands out is she's 17.
Yeah.
So why is she vaping?
Yeah.
That's the first thing.
Well, the second thing is where's she getting them from? Is it a parent buying them? Is it a dodgy shop that she's shut down selling them? What's going on?
And the third thing is what she's more likely got is pulmonary pneumonosis, which is caused by oil.
I'm willing to bet from the pictures that they showed, because it's a typical American cheerleader sort of pictures, I'm willing to put money on it that the actual person doesn't exist. It's fake.
Yeah.
Because if you notice this lately with the news, a lot of news has been faked for certain things to do with political stuff. I'm willing to put money on it that is another piece of fake news. Sway the people into thinking to become anti-vaping.
I mean, we know the UK has the biggest proportion of vapors
Per
and
capita.
has had for 10 years.
Yeah.
Why has there never been a single case in the UK if this was a problem?
Yeah.
I have a daring thought, because it's not true.
That'll be the one.
And then you got the stuff over here that's all blamed on, popcorn lung and vapes and this and that. But then you actually do the research on it and find out, once the people stop lying about what they're actually doing, oh, you had pesticide or Boney S tainted THC cartridges. And that's what caused all your lung issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, pesticides and fertilizer on backstreet green growths. Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend vaping sort of pesticides.
I really wouldn't, no.
Yeah, it's not really a very good idea.
I mean, they have actually found a couple companies in the last year or so that do the little disposable cartridge things that they've been found out they actually have pesticides found in their product.
Yeah. Because
these are legally done, fully legally sold in dispensary products.
But where do they think that the world is going to go when it goes to a full black market?
Oh, shit.
That's where it's going.
Before. Where's the nicotine going to come from if it gets that bad? Places you don't want to be using the nicotine from. Somebody
will go and steal it from a local farmer or a local chemical company or wherever. Or they'll bring it over the border probably from Mexico. And I'm not having a dig here at Mexican people, I've got nothing against Mexican people whatsoever. But there is a lot of criminality in Mexico, unfortunately. They're going to take advantage of that situation.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't you?
I mean, it's a huge market, you know.
They did it with fentanyl. They did it with other drugs. We know they did it with that.
Yeah.
But then your government decided, oh, well, all fentanyl that people were addicted to and dying from all came from Mexico. No. No.
No, a lot of it was prescribed by U.S. doctors and everything that made its way to the streets.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a lot of people became hooked on that fentanyl and they lost their lives.
But not only that, people cut other things to make it go further as well.
Exactly.
I was saying that's where my buddy passed away from. They it wasn't a good situation anyways. He was doing heroin, but it was laced with fentanyl, and that's what ended up taking him. You know,
the thing is a proven fact. Heroin in itself. I'm not saying I recommend everybody go out try heroin. It's great. No. Heroin is safe-ish, if you like.
Yeah.
But once you add fentanyl into it, which is 100 times stronger than heroin, well, unfortunately, the result of that is awful. You know, people pass away from it, which is all right, like you said about your friend who passed away, and I'm sorry for that. It's terrible. Yes, he was addicted. Well, that's neither here nor there. He was addicted.
Not the
Doesn't
grand
mean he
scheme.
deserved to end up in a position he ended up in.
I mean, and I think too, he was 28 when he went.
I mean, one of the things to consider though is codeine is a perfectly legal drug.
Yep.
Codeine only has to be crushed and cut to be heroin.
Yeah.
Literally, it's the same drug.
Yeah.
Oh, trust me, they put a very, very high level of restriction on codeine cough syrup over here because the years that I was going through high school and all that, it was a very, very popular thing that somehow kids just got a hold of. Like
all you do is
bottles of codeine cough syrup.
You pour it in a baking tray and then you heat it up.
Yeah.
I know how it works. It's not hard to find out how to do these things.
Oh no, Matt! These geniuses were just drinking full bottles of the stuff, and then you're going to drinking alcohol on top of it and going out for the night.
Yeah, you're never going to stop people being stupid.
Well, that's the point of the thing, you know.
But unfortunately,
and that's why there's so many warning labels on everything.
Yeah,
nowadays to stop people being so fucking stupid.
You mean like when you get a bag of peanuts and it's saying may contain nuts?
They contain nuts, yeah.
On
lead acid batteries, do not drink the contents.
Hair dryers do not use in the shower. Oh no, that's just America, isn't it?
I wish some people.
There's a lot of very interesting labels on stuff in America.
I still think Vapors Cloud was the best.
Detergent pods do not ingest.
Vapors Cloud was the best one ever on the back of a Mac model. They had it on the box. I remember this clear as a bell. Not to be inserted rectally. Now, I'm hoping that they just put that on there as like then Brian, who owns Vapors Cloud, would put it on there as a bit of a joke. But I've got a feeling that somebody actually tried shoving a Mac mod up their arse at some point.
I would almost guarantee they did it.
Probably.
Yeah, the problem he took the cap off the RDA and cauterized his arsehole.
He had no more issues with his prostate.
Nope.
I thought a .08 on a stack series would be a good idea.
It hit like a motherfucker.
For some reason, though, it still had throat hit.
So this is why Hanky walks funny.
Hanky's probably not here now.
No, I think he's gone on to Bennybout.
Yeah.
He does the show with them.
That's true, Lisa. Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, this is one thing I will never understand. In the UK, something has to be proved safe to be legal. In America, it's legal until it's proved dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they'd put a label on Trump.
Oh, there is a label. But
Yeah,
it's not.
it says do not feed the monkey.
Mm.
Hey, you could be right there, Lee. You could be right. Maybe he got carried away.
Well, he should have been.
Our right-wing Scottish brethren.
Yeah. In the jacket that fastens at the back with long sleeves.
Mm. Gives yourself a nice hug.
Yeah.
I can't believe people in this country, though, are still so pro Farage.
Oh, God.
He's the last person.
Yeah. If you actually read what he says, there's some of it where he makes Hitler look like a communist.
I'm not saying that this country, this country, I think half the world, but it needs to change. We need to stop importing so many people. We need to stop giving money away like we are, and all the rest of it. But the way some of these people are talking, it has gone beyond common sense, and they're just talking about we need to get rid of all foreigners. Well, if we got rid of all foreigners at the start, the UK wouldn't exist.
Mm.
No.
Look at, for instance, Scotland. Okay, Scotland is made up. There's a lot of Italian people in Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
Scotland has a really big Italian because a lot of the prisoners during the Second World War, people know, were put up in Scotland. That must have been a shock to the Italians. But and a lot of them, of course, stayed and made that their home. So I've got nothing against people of different creed, different backgrounds, no issue at all. I've got no. In fact, it's quite nice to have different cultures. But when they're coming here and trying to change our culture, trying to change it to suit what they want, that's when I have an issue. That's
yeah. I mean, the only time. Okay, Britain was not the best country from the point of view of trying to impose our culture on other countries.
Yeah.
But we've learned from it. We've learned from it.
And I don't agree that we should have done what we did in the past, but I am not going to apologise to everybody worldwide for what went on, what my great grandfather did 200 or 300 years ago.
No.
Well, that's just it. You get the same thing over here because everybody's got their own, severity of how they look at things that have happened in history. Yes, there was. So there was horrible things in American history. We all know it and everything else. But I'm not going to apologize in 2025 for something that I personally had no connection to. You know what I mean?
We all know what went on in the southern states with the slave trade and blah blah blah.
Mm.
We all know that there was a lot of English people of nobility who were involved in that slave trade. There were a lot of people who were the same in Jamaica and sort of Bahamas and all of these, and Africa and so on, and did some awful things. Also in Africa, there were a lot of black people who were selling their own people into the slave trade.
I want to say they were nipping down the road and take the next village and sell the next village.
So to say, oh, white people did this, I'm not going to apologise for my colour because I'm white. I'm not apologising for that anymore.
No.
The same as somebody who is black shouldn't have to apologise, or Chinese, or Pakistani, or Indian, or whatever. They shouldn't be apologising.
No, nobody should.
You are what you are. That's it. End of.
Yeah.
Get over it.
The only thing we should be doing is learning from and not making those mistakes again.
Hiya, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Evening, Michael. You see, now look, one of the skinheads has arrived. Mike.
It's the thing we've got to try and stamp out is extremism on all sides.
Yeah, that is the point, on all sides.
Whether it's left wing, right wing, different races, different faiths, the extremism needs to be stamped out.
Yeah.
Well, that's where how many issues, how many, whether it's small, large fights, wars, however they want to be, has been caused by that. Oh, most of them.
Most of the wars have been caused in the name of one religion or another.
Yeah. Usually Christianity is in there somewhere.
And since the 5th century, so is Islam.
Yeah. And it all comes back to power and money.
Yeah.
Religion comes back to money and power. And proof of that is the Southern Baptist Church. Let's take a look at them. The millions and millions and millions of pounds that the Southern Baptist Church has and pays to have these super churches, which you have in America.
Oh, we have them here in Ohio.
You read in the Bible that a church is just a gathering place. It can be the top of a fucking hill. It doesn't have to be a building. So why do we have to have a fucking church that is the size of 5 football pitches, air conditioning, super stereo systems and TV screens?
Well, think you got the giant TV screens, you got the lighting, you have all the camera, because most of the time they videotape everything and half the time they broadcast it or do whatever and resell that. And then there's the music equipment too.
Yeah,
that's an important point. They resell it.
Because then I went to a church years and years and years ago and actually, semi-practiced a religion. And they literally, I don't want to call it a gift shop, but they basically had a gift shop inside the church.
Oh, yeah.
But there's another thing with the Southern Baptists that I know about. You have to turn over a percentage of your earnings to be allowed to be a member of the church.
Usually about 20%. I think it is.
And yeah, but there are some where it's as much as 50%.
There's also another thing about the Southern Baptist Church that's come out quite recently. They reckon at least 90% of the Southern Baptist Church has large groups of paedophiles involved.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not accusing.
Do you see the level of
Everybody.
shock that's on all of our faces?
This is not a shock.
Mm.
But of course,
But
that's
religion
covered up.
has been, but religion has been used to hide a lot of evils
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
or justify a lot of evils.
You know, I was saying today, actually, I was talking about it with Alana, and I said, it amazes me. People go to church on a Sunday, and you know why they go to church? They go there, they stand there with all the other old people talking about, not about what should have been done and what good things you've done all week. Oh no, they go to church so that on a Sunday they can stand there and go, have you heard what so and so's done? Her husband was caught with Mrs. So and they've done this and they've done that. That's what church is.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah.
is what the church is. It's local fucking nosy busybody fucker. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right, Lee.
But you've got this thing though of money and power.
Mm.
What's the old saying? Power corrupts. Unfortunately, you've also got the saying absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Hmm.
And you get these big Southern Baptist ministries and they have absolute power
Oh yeah.
because they don't even have to obey the law of the land.
No.
Which one was? I'm trying to remember. One of them, I'm sure he was a Southern Baptist. He got done for embezzlement from the church, prostitution. He was seeing prostitutes. He had a private jet, and then eventually, I think he got caught for interfering with kids as well.
Well,
And he
didn't
was
Billy
the
Graham?
minister.
Yeah, didn't Billy Graham get done for that?
I think Billy Graham got done for it. Yeah, because he came over here back in what was that, the 70s, wasn't it?
80s.
I remember-
Billy Graham did world tours.
I remember years ago, I had a friend of mine that they actually lived. It was funny because it was, I can't remember, I think it was Ernest Ainsley, is one of the big super church guys from Ohio. But he, he's always known for being a kind of odd guy. But he lived, had the super church. He lived basically in a mansion, all that. Well, where his house was, there was a creek line going from it down to like a local neighborhood.
Yeah.
Tell me why she literally saw him at 2:00 in the morning, screaming, butt naked, running down the creek, screaming that demons were following him.
But I mean, Billy Graham had his own enclave with a 50-room mansion in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And his own police force. Now tell me there's not something a bit dodgy about that.
Mm.
Well, if you're going to say about your own church, your own police force, then you've got to talk about the Vatican City.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Rome's been caught for it numerous times. How many priests disappear and reappear somewhere else, nowhere near?
Mm-hmm.
Usually in
It doesn't happen as much.
American country.
Yeah, it doesn't happen as much now because there is communication. But up until the 80s, where we still didn't really have that type of close communication,
Yeah.
People could literally be moved 50 miles and not know,
Mm.
Right.
and not traced.
Exactly.
So they get caught, vanish, literally, moonlight flit, reappear 50 miles away.
Yeah.
And suddenly be the minister of another church.
Yeah, a fresh flock to interfere with.
Mm.
Yeah, the thing is, he's moved to a church where that minister had done the same thing.
So they just swapped them.
So they're there, they're just comparing diaries while they're moving.
Add him. Sorry.
Mm.
Good,
sick.
decent, bad, good. Oh, sorry.
He's sick, but it is true.
Oh, it's fucked up. I mean, it's not.
That's the problem. The only positive thing coming out of technology and communication is if people have a will, they can deal with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
The trouble is, America in particular is not teaching people to be curious.
No.
You're not even being taught to learn most of the time.
No.
You're being taught to pass a test because that gets the funding for the schools continued, and then they send you off and you're on your own.
Yeah.
It's what we were talking about the other week. Our education system teaches us to think. Your system gives you facts and figures and a test.
That's it. I mean, literally, that's it.
No thinking has to go on in between those 2 points.
And a book with the answers in, usually.
Mm.
Half the time, yeah.
Well, I told you guys, we literally had tests that were called open book tests, and you had your entire textbook there and the full class period to finish the test.
It does explain a lot, that does.
It does.
And you got to remember, all those Scantron tests that we did for 90% of everything, those are a multiple choice no matter what. There's no written answers for that. There's no explaining anything. There's no thought process behind it. It's, okay, let's pick 1, 2, 3, or 4 and see if we're right.
I mean, I remember when I did my O-levels, we were still not allowed calculators even in maths or physics.
Mm.
He means
Where-
abacus.
No, we weren't allowed those either.
Come on, Methuselah.
And if you had a calculator watch, you had to leave your watch with the invigilators.
Mm.
Which is funny because over here, I'm not even kidding. Part of your yearly checklist things you had to buy yourself for school, as soon as you hit a certain age, you had to have a calculator of a certain quality and a certain capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, I think it was like my 9th or 10th grade year, they switched to the Texas Instrument calculators, like the graphing calculators and everything.
Oh, they were great.
$170 some fucking dollars later for something that you barely used.
Do you know the best of it? You say $177. I got one from China, £8.
Yeah.
Full graphic, scientific, algebraic calculator.
Now, was this recently, Bill, or back when I was in school?
No, this is about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
But it could even do calculus.
You should be able to do calculus in your head.
That's
Or is
one
that-
thing where I could never do calculus.
I can do calculus. I can do trigonometry. I can do most of it without a calculator.
I used to be able to, and then I kind of...
Apart from calculus, I can do most of it in my head. The problem I have is reading the numbers.
Yeah.
Which is where it came in really good, because if I wrote my numbers down, which meant I knew what the numbers were because I'd written them, I'll do all my workings out. And if I showed all my working out, I would still get a reasonable mark, because they would look and go, he's got the wrong answer, but he started with the wrong. and everything is correct for the numbers he's got.
Calculus, Michael. Calculus.
It's what's on this T-shirt.
So they were nice enough to put my high school calculus first period. So it was very first thing in the morning at 8 o'clock. I started doing calculus. Teenagers can't focus at 8 o'clock in the morning anyway, let alone do calculus.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Michael.
I put it this way: if you get into electronics, you actually have to learn a lot of it.
Yeah.
I mean, Matt will understand the joke, Kirchhoff's law.
Yes.
The immediate smile of recognition. Kirchhoff's law is one of the most bizarre laws going, to do with
Extremely,
capacitance.
extremely bizarre.
It's extremely bizarre because it's AC capacitance.
Yeah.
Which in theory doesn't exist, but in reality does. So they had to invent a whole stream of calculus.
Yeah.
Because otherwise the final numbers are always zero.
Always used to enjoy trigonometry. I like doing trigonometry.
Oh, I used to enjoy trig. Yeah.
And yes, everybody said you'll never use trigonometry. Guess what? I used it a lot.
I used a lot of trig.
Depending what path you take, you will.
That's what I was just thinking.
Engineering uses a lot of trigonometry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Going back to something vape related, what's
What'd
your
you buy?
thoughts on the new tank built?
Everything's slightly better. That adds
Yeah.
up to a lot better in the grand scheme. I really like the Max tank. I like the original Blaze. But this is just better.
Yeah.
It just wicks that little bit better. That means you can put a decent power through a coil. The airflow, there's a bit more of it. That means you can put a little bit more power through a coil to get flavour.
You'll be able to use one too, Tyler, when you pay about 195 quid for it. But
Yeah, in a month and a half
Yeah.
when it gets to the States.
by Ronald Donald Trump has put the.
Yeah, by the time you pay tariff on it, you're looking at a couple of $100.
And at that point, it is what they're hoping for. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
He's,
Well, I
But
said
that
that's why I got that that Armor Max and the Tauren 30 coming this week.
yeah,
Yeah.
be interested to see what the Tauren is like.
I have the original Asgard 30, and when that first got released and I got it right away, it's one of those things you try and you're like, compared to what you're using currently, oh, that has the best flavor, could blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But I've also had issues with those because of the inserts being Ultim.
Yep.
And the fact that this one actually has a machined insert for it. And I like the way they did the airflow going inside down and then has it just a little bit undercoiled through the center to pick up the velocity through the center of it.
Yeah.
I think it'll work for high power for what I want to do. And I looked it up. The post holes were like 10 mils apart.
Yeah, it is the Thundercloud version.
The Vapors Cloud 30, it's a good RDA, but for a 30, it's not big enough.
No, the build space is not what it should be for that size RDA at all.
No.
It's like a 009 is hot on it.
Oh, yeah.
And it shouldn't be with the size of the RDA.
Well, the airflow is just not what it should be. Like, I don't know if it's because of the size of the actual like honeycomb they did on the outside or the, angles of the ultimate insert, but it's not, it doesn't give the right amount of airflow to keep it cool enough to run that type of build.
They did a cloud insert, which I've got.
I have that one too, the open airflow one. That's the straight. It didn't really do much.
It's not open enough.
It's really not. Like I said, I think it's the barrel itself. I think the actual honeycomb on the outside the barrel was too small.
If you just want it, if you're going to use it for like the squonking or something, yeah, it's all right.
It's got a good well for that, yeah.
And it is quite a smooth vape on it. I will give it that. But it's definitely it's not a cloudy. Oh,
No.
yeah.
Mike definitely had his head screwed on when he just tweaked everything on this.
Yeah, he did.
Because, like I said, I think he tweaked everything.
Yeah, I do.
Because the airflow is a little bit smoother. There's a bit more there. It's more controllable. There's more wicking space. Because with 3mm coils, you do not thin the wick at all. You literally just drop the wick in the slot.
Now, if you want to talk about something that has great airflow, in fact, too much airflow.
Yeah.
The Redemption.
Old school. Yeah.
Way too much airflow, no direction for it to actually travel.
Oh, no, you get good flavour out of it.
But how hot a build are you putting in that?
3.5 or 4mm coils.
Yeah.
A 0.1 ish.
Emphasis on the ish.
Let's use all NI90, shall we?
Hold on, I'll tell you what. I haven't used this for ages. I dread to think what the state of it is because I didn't clean it out.
Probably still got wicks in it.
No, I must admit it was quite amusing. We were talking about this, and by the time we finished talking about it, I'd ordered it, and the following day, so had Matt.
Oh, this
and I removed mine out the basket.
This has got a series build in it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, a 0.3 series build. A feisty series build.
Caramelization coming off the coil.
Yes.
Yeah, but we know how to make liquid so we don't have dead slugs.
No dead slugs on it.
I've seen a couple pictures here and there over the years on Facebook groups. This started tasting a little funny, so I figured there's not even a coil left. There's an inch of buildup on top of the coil.
Yeah.
Yeah, just look at the coil and it's like this horrible thing.
9 times out of 10, the cotton's bumped out it as well, so it's just directly going onto the coil.
Yeah.
And then they still try to rig up the same coils.
If you want a really bad case of that, just watch a certain Scottish reviewer.
Yeah.
I kid you not, for what he vapes, he should be re-wicking and cleaning his coils every day. But he doesn't.
It's a lot of sweetener.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. He's got a really sweet tooth. Really sweet tooth. Just the one.
Just one left.
Same as a certain Mancunian. He's got a really sweet tooth, but he likes WS-23 in his.
Oh, I thought you meant Dave.
Dave's not a Mancunian. He's Salfordian.
Mm.
And he'll remind you next time he talks to you.
And he probably will do, yeah.
I'll put it this way. Disabled as he might be, I'm still not going to argue with him with his martial arts background.
Bless him. I hadn't heard anything of him for a little while.
I know he's been posting memories of fake
Yeah.
stuff in the last couple of days.
He's just set up a new driving rig as well.
Yeah.
Now, before you bin them, what do you got?
Mm.
Oh,
Because I have a weird fascination with old, random, half useless vape gear. So what do you got?
oh, that's why you're on here with us. Old useless.
You know,
Yeah. Mike, don't bin him. Just get the postage price. Tyler will pay it and send them.
honestly,
Mark them, label them as machine. Label
for that-
them as machine parts.
And put them in an Ann Summers box if you can.
Mhm.
Dildos for his pleasure.
I was waiting for the not for rectal use sticker.
With the not crossed out.
Mike, all that reminds me of is the freaking scene from Bob's Burgers about the cast iron pan. What'd you let it get rusty for in the first place?
I must be honest, there's a lot of mods that I need to, RDAs and stuff I need to go through and just. I think I'm probably going to throw quite a few out because I just don't use them.
Yeah.
And it's just cluttering space up at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to the RTAs and that, there's a lot I just don't even.
I'm quite happy with it. I'm quite happy with this, with the Max.
The Max and the Max Pro, particularly the Pro, because that's the other thing. The 8.5mm tank makes a difference.
I even cleaned out the normal one. I cleaned it out and put it back in the box, which is unusual for me. Usually, I just take them off.
I've got an unused normal one in the box.
Do you know, if you could afford it, I would definitely get the new one. I
Yeah,
think it is worth it, Craig. It is. It depends whether you want to get it. That's the thing, isn't it?
Well, we said before, we all get set in our ways on certain devices. We find certain tanks, RDAs, whatever, and we end up using them for however long. I mean, I've been using the Blotto Max for over 3 years. Well, yeah, just about 3 years.
no, the block. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the only one that was even halfway decent out of all of them was the Max, honestly. The
Yeah.
original had so many fucking problems.
Oh, didn't it just?
I did get the 1.5 when I bought the Max, but it was a point where I could afford to do it and whatever, you know. And for a decent size like 4mm single coil, that's actually a decent tank for that. But I'm not putting dual coils in that tank. It's just
At the minute, my go-to is that on the EHE. Another EHE product. And then we go to that.
harsh son of a. Oh, what?
I'd have to lean forward because mine's over on the at the other end of the coffee table.
You
Oh,
lazy.
Druga 2. Wow.
I've been using the Tolex quite a bit recently.
I tell you what,
How's the build
that
quality
has-
on that one, Craig?
good.
The Troll X.
The build
was
quality
good.
on the Tolex is good. As long as you
thinking-
put enough cotton in it.
Yeah, that's just what I was about to say to you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Every time I saw, like,
because the
use
other
on
day
it-
I didn't put quite enough cotton in it. I just put it just. It's like, shit, that'll be looking nice.
But the flavour on it is really good.
Mm.
It's a
It's
good
good
little
flavour
flavour.
on the Solex.
They still have them sitting
Hmm?
at a couple local shops over here.
They're good.
Yeah, it's a crappy slidey top cap on it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't
gotcha.
know why they put that. That was a bit.
Mm. But the
apart
drip tips off the Van de Beek Tensei that I had goes quite nicely with it.
It does look quite nice. Looks like a posh one.
Shoot, I still use pretty much the only tips I use are the original recurve tips.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just like me conical Delvin drip tips.
Longer for his pleasure.
Fits in the mouth easier.
Yeah, but that bit of a shoulder stops you burning your lips on top of the tank as well.
Right.
You know, a bit like when Matt used to burn his lips on the exhaust pipe. Sorry, giving away your secrets.
I did do I have done a small ELFC order.
Oh God.
Oh,
Just building up. Just starting to build up, just in case.
I must admit, I made some more juice today to steep, and I've ordered some more juice today as well. And I'm going to have to probably restock some nicotine again soon.
Yeah, I gotta get a new set of batteries.
I've cut my nicotine use down again.
I keep some six-ish for stuff like that, so it's got a bit of a kick to it. But apart from that, 3 or I could go for. To be fair, I could go for a lot less.
Hello.
Oh dear, he's got his rat out.
It's a new member to the family. He just got home.
Yes, I am rather partial to the Pixie Juice range. I must admit, G. I'm on blackberry and pear at the moment, which I'm rather
Not too bad.
enjoying.
I've got one of the bottle shots of the Fuji apple and strawberry to make up, and I've got the Satsuma one. It was Satsuma one, all right, but
Oranges, any of the orangey, citrusy ones is such a hard flavour to
yeah,
just get
See,
the right.
I had a
bit
Mandarin orange that made way
bit
back.
harsh on the throat. Satsuma and pineapple, that is, yeah. It's a little bit harsh.
Yeah, I haven't tried the strawberries and berries yet.
No, not have I. They have released a new one, which is vanilla and wild berries.
I'm not sure about that one. Not sure, but I haven't tried it, so wild strawberry and berries and vanilla berry.
Thinking about it, wild berries and vanilla should come out something like summer pudding with custard.
I'll have to pick. I shall pick some up, G. I'll pick some up and I'll give it a try. It sounds really good. They've definitely got their fruit flavors really. Yeah, they're nice. Yeah, it makes sense, G. Yeah, I get where you're coming from with that.
But there's Master, who's seen the floor pan for Expo?
But
Small.
compact
It's
and
a
bijou,
little-
Mostyn. Compact and bijou.
Compact.
It's a little Expo.
Mm.
It's
Considering
perfect
it's
for
also meant to be the 10th anniversary. Mm.
Be ideal for Vic. Oh, he's not going, is he? Oh, dear.
Is he
Oh,
not?
what a shame.
No, he's
Oh,
not.
I'm
Conned,
so
he's not conned any. I mean, he's not managed to get the money together yet.
Ah,
No,
Well,
the
do you know what annoys? I'm gonna have a. I haven't done a rant on Vic for a little while, so fuck it. What annoys me about that is like the rest of us. I haven't been for a while, but the rest of us who go pay out of our own pocket. Why does
Yeah.
he think he deserves to be paid to go? Sorry, but
yeah, no,
it's entitlement, isn't it? It's that self-entitled attitude. You should pay me to go.
why?
Why? Why should we?
mm.
Everybody, if you really want to go to, and it means that much to you, it doesn't to me anymore. The only reason I would go to Expo now would be to see people like Lee and Lisa, G, people, Bill if he went, people, and Craig obviously, and people that I know. That would be it.
Yeah.
Mm.
See,
Yeah.
catch up with friends and have a bit of a laugh and whatever.
Well, as far as the actual expo itself, though, what besides maybe one or two specific spots, maybe in the Modders Gallery type thing, are you really
The
going
way
to?
The way
Yeah,
it's
but
looking, Tyler, there's not even any stands that I'd want to see.
I haven't looked at the lineup for
Well,
this one.
you'll probably have people crowding round the Vapors Cloud stand because everyone will be wanting to try and get that new Empire Squonk one,
Well,
Why?
yeah.
which actually does look quite good. I watched
don't
them
like
greens.
I don't like it.
The only thing that I really liked about it, I'm a big squonker anyway, but the fact that it is dual battery and the platform size is centered.
Yeah,
It's not off to one side
it
where
holds
you've
a
got
38. Holds up to a 38.
right.
But
But how with the top
Yeah.
bill, how big an Addy does that fit?
That's got a 28 on it now,
Is it?
and
Yeah.
that you wouldn't go any bigger than a 28.
I say the top side's 28, really.
But the top side's a superb device.
Just
I
watch
love
it. Kind of talking
the
about-
topside 90 that I had.
Oh,
But
the
it
top
doesn't
side.
read the batteries properly anymore.
Yeah, it was. That's the issue I had with mine. For some reason, it started playing up on it, and I tried everything.
Mm.
I had the board out and everything, and even resoldered the board. And no, it just
Yeah, when I put a battery, and even though the 21700s are fully charged, it's like on sort of like 2/3 to half power.
it's exactly what mine did.
Yeah,
I even bought a fresh battery for that mod from Fogstar to check. I thought, well, maybe it's my charger, maybe and all the rest of it. No, wouldn't have it.
To be honest, I'm just not interested in a squonk mod. I've got
I've got two or three good ones here, mech squonks that I don't even use.
Yeah.
I mean, if I want to squonk, I've got a couple here. I don't use them that often, though. I don't use them often enough to. I think RTAs are better, to be honest, nowadays.
I mean, to be honest, I'm taking something quite compact like that.
Yeah.
And that. I can fit both of them in shirt pocket.
What else? That's all you need. Obviously, your juice and some spare batteries.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
what else do you
But of
need?
course, I mean, I quite quickly lose a flavour, so I have 2 different flavours with me. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's probably also due to the fact that I'm probably not drinking enough liquid anyway. Because,
And
well, being a bus driver, I don't always want to end up going in having a pee every half hour or so.
Plus,
pee
it's
out
not,
the window.
it's not that good when the police pull you over and you have to blow in the little machine.
Could you blow this, please, sir? No, I'm not that way inclined. Fuck off.
Why, your chips too hot?
But, yeah. I need to get some more coils for the more GTI coils for the Exxon Max.
If you ever want to piss a
That
copper
one.
off, right, when they ask you to do a breath test, turn round and say to them, "Is that alcohol I smell on your breath, officer?" Because as soon as you say that to them, they have to get another policeman out, usually an inspector, to do a roadside breath test on the policeman. There's a bit of fun for you.
They also don't like it if you give them a smart ass comment like, "So did you know your rear tail light was out?" "No, I couldn't see it from here."
The other one,
That happened to a friend of mine, and
The other one.
says, "Oh, let's have a little check of the car." Right. Can we check your spare tire in the boot as well? He had all his rugby coaching gear in the boot. "What, you want me to take?" "Yes. I don't have anywhere to go."
Also, my favourite one was still had a copper behind me with his headlights up full. So I'm sort of weaving, and every time I moved, he moved. So I couldn't get away from his headlights in my wing mirrors. So I weaved,
Mm.
and it finished up. He followed me for about 5 or 6 miles like this. Then eventually he pulled me over, and I said, "Have you any reason for weaving?" I says, "Yeah, your headlights are on full." He goes, "No, they're not." I goes, "Trust me, your headlights are on full. You know the cars coming towards us that were flashing, they were flashing you, not me." And he's like, finished it up, checked. His full beam indicator had failed on his car.
Ooh.
Yeah. I says, "Oh, somebody didn't check their vehicle before they came out for the evening."
Oh, they hate it if you do that to them.
Mm.
The net result was I finished up. I got a very polite letter from the chief superintendent for North Yorkshire apologising for the officer for wasting my time due to his lack of diligence. He must have got in so much trouble for that one.
Mm.
But like, we went to the car and I just flicked his headlights back, and it's like, there you go. If you'd had your headlights like that, you wouldn't have blinded me, and I wouldn't have been weaving. And he's like, just a minute, and he's flicking between high and dip beam, and he's like, the indicators aren't working. So, well, you should be more aware of how your lights are working anyway.
Mm.
Fucking. So that means he hadn't bothered indicating since he left the station.
It means he hadn't done anything since he left the station, and he had his headlights on full.
Fucking great fucking driver, that is.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I know, if I come up behind a car and I've got my full beam on, I can see I've got my main beams on.
Well, yeah.
Mm.
Because you illuminate the whole of the back of the fucking car.
Yeah.
Where
Officer.
it should illuminate below the boot line.
You need to go and arrest yourself, officer, for vagrancy of the brain.
Like I say, after that one, I dare say he got in a fair bit of trouble because first
Yeah,
thing
probably.
there was
Mm.
make sure he was on low beam and drive back to the station and they change the car
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
it wouldn't have been.
They changed it for a push bike.
Yeah,
Mm.
probably.
Messing with all my stuff immediately, and you haven't done anything.
But yeah, it was.
Roll. And now stop.
You know, some of the stuff I've got away with the police over the years has been.
So long as you're nice with them, you'd be
Hmm.
surprised what you get away with.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember when I worked Taco Bell years ago. You know, it was not a horrible area, but you called the police more than you didn't to deal with people. You know, well, you start to know the local officers pretty well. Go to leave at 2:30 in the morning from work, get pulled over a quarter mile from work. You see the first cop get out, guy's got his hand on his gun, about to start walking up. Female officer gets out behind him, looks at what vehicle it is, goes, "Get the fuck back in the car." You see him just looks. I've been witness saying, hear all this. She walks up, looks at me. How you doing? How you been? Hey, your brake light's out. Get that fixed. We'll see you tomorrow.
Worst things to say to a female police officer. And you can get away with this and they will laugh because I know I did it to a female police officer. What size batteries does your truncheon take? It was either going to get me arrested or the policewoman was going to crack up laughing. Luckily for me, she cracked up laughing.
But no, I'll
Yes.
be honest.
Evening constable.
Mm.
You know, thinking about it, the only person I really want to see who's going to be at Expo is James, and I can go just down the road to see him.
Yeah.
In fact, if I hadn't stocked up 10 days ago, I would have been going to see him tomorrow.
Mm.
Which means
that's
the day
that's
after
where
tomorrow
the
you're
new
going to run out.
that's where my new car's coming from, Malton.
Mm.
Would you end up deciding on the Juke?
Yeah, it's too nice a car and it suits my needs, and being a taller car, it's better with the disabilities.
Oh, I can imagine it'd be a lot easier in and out and everything.
It will be.
The other thing is it's four-door, where you look at most of the little cars, the two-door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
He just needs to get a stall so he can get in and out.
No, I'm going to get those, those ladders you can get that come out when you open the door.
Well, the automatic running board ladders?
Yeah. I'm just going to get some of them. Just have a word with my mum, find out where hers came from for the camper van.
Yeah. That's not a bad idea.
Mm.
One of the nice things is it's an adjustable height seat in the Duke.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which means it shouldn't be too much of a problem getting in and out of.
True.
Shouldn't be, because the Dukes are a bit higher anyway. Yeah.
The car's a bit higher, but I can keep the seat lower. So getting in and out should be easy.
Shouldn't be too bad.
They don't call me Vic.
Oh, God. Thankfully, he doesn't drive.
Mm.
Apparently, he did at one time.
Well, he's always pushing everybody round the bend.
Mm.
I would say the effect of other people's mental health from him is not what we're talking about.
Yeah, but he had to turn his driving license in about 15 years ago because of his eyesight.
Mm. Because of that Fuchs dystrophy, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, the police don't like seeing Mr. Magoo drive down the road with his nose on the
No.
windscreen.
He's a bit like Mr. Magoo, actually. Yeah, when you think about it.
He is, isn't he?
Question is, how many phone books does he sit on to drive?
Like, it'd struggle now because we don't have a phone book anymore.
Right.
Mm.
Oh no, but you can get booster seats quite cheap.
I was just thinking, you
Hmm.
can go
Yeah,
to, you can go to your local, chip and chip place. Hey, you got those little brown boost seats kids used to use?
yeah, you can get the one for the 4-year-old. That's a bit higher, isn't it?
See an irate Scotsman coming towards you.
And then he gets out of the car and comes up to your knees.
Savagely attack your kneecaps.
With the booster seat still stuck to his ass.
Mm.
Well, that's the effect of the vibrating seats.
Mm-hmm.
Tenor for Vic. Oh, I'm sorry.
Now, I'll probably put the little blocks on his feet tight.
It'd be like a small fry out of fucking Indiana Jones.
Shot down.
That's to say short round, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he had slinty eyes too. I must
should be
stop.
I'll say, Mike, I should be able to see over the wheel. You can lower it.
I can't see Vic ever driving again, which I'm pleased.
No, I wouldn't think so.
I mean, he can come over here. They'll give anybody a license over here.
Yeah, but the standards of driving in America, he'd be fine.
Mm.
Yeah.
All he needs to do is buy 1970s pickup.
No, we'll put him on an unused, like, abandoned NASCAR track, and Vic all day. I'm making a left turn.
Clunk. Oh, that was the wall. Clunk. That was the wall.
Mike,
Right.
a lot of the gutter's gone, thank you. I've lost 2 stone.
Ooh.
Any other subjects to talk about? Or?
Don't really think so today. No.
No.
Yeah, it must be a rambly show anyway.
Yeah.
Mm.
Go on then, as it's 2 hours have gone.
Yeah, it's me this week then.
Yeah.
Well, as always, everybody, thanks for being here. Thanks for the back and forth and the bullshit and the very lovely opinions on everything. We always appreciate the different sides of it, even though most of us agree, but everybody's a dickhead. Everybody have a good week. Am I frozen? There we go. So everybody have a good week. Stay safe. You guys need anybody, Facebook groups there, personal accounts are there. You know where we are. All right. Say goodbye, Craig. Everybody have a good one.
Yeah, cheers, Tyler. Yeah. As Tyler says, the group is there as usual. Thanks everyone for joining us. We'll be back again next week. I hope everyone has a good week. Bank holiday weekend, isn't it? Yeah, Good Friday and Easter Sunday next week. And
Well, I'm happy you said
Easter
that. 'Cause I
Monday,
will
so
get my families for Easter next week. Thank you, Craig. I won't be here next week, guys.
Peace
that's
and
a shame.
quiet this week, guys.
Oh, he's gone to see his
Sorry. Yeah, so yeah, we'll be back again next week. And I'll pass that to Bill.
Yeah, cheers, Craig. Yeah, like they say, the group's there. You can normally get hold of one of us if you need to talk. I can't think of much to say. Hope everybody has a really good week, and I'm looking forward to going and seeing what this car drives like tomorrow. Over to you, Matt.
Yeah, a bit of a rambling week. We might have a bit more news next week, so let's see what goes on with the current rabble that are in power and see if there's any more news on the vaping thing. Recommendations: go and buy some more juice and go and stock up on nicotine if you haven't already, because it is coming. It is coming. So,
And that's UK and stateside. There's
Yeah.
a lot
Mhm.
of everything getting in now.
Yeah.
it definitely is coming. Yeah. Apart from that, yeah, like the guy said, the shows are there. If you need us, just give us a call. We're always about, so we could always set a room up for a quick chat or whatever. Apart from that, we shall see you all next week with maybe something a bit more productive, maybe a bit more news. You never know.
Hmm.
Or we
Anything
will.
Well,
Tyler, Tyler is having time off.
I might be here part with this show. I don't know how long I'll be gone, but I don't want to say I'll be here and then miss the whole show.
yeah, no problem.
Hmm.
So unreliable at times. He really is.
If
Right,
Matt, I'll be hanging out with my mom. I'll have her call you. I know it'll make
you'll be
you day.
hanging out with your mum. Whoa.
Man, Matt, your ears are really selective, aren't they?
Very. Right, we'll see you all later, guys.
Yeah,
Matt,
see you
have
later,
a
guys.
great week.
Bye.
Bye.